Good morning, Professor Hong.
Yeah, hi, good morning. Morning, everyone. Good morning,
Yeah, good morning,
Ebony.
Professor.
Good morning,
Good
How
Professor.
morning,
are
Professor.
you? How are
Good
Good,
you
and
morning.
yourself?
doing? Good morning, Mohammed. Let me just start.
Good morning, Professor. Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Let me share my screen. Let's,
Good
uh,
morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
all right, what's going
Hi,
on over there?
Damien.
Ebony is saying good morning and
Yeah,
very,
hi, good morning, Edmund. Good morning, Ebony. Sorry about that, Professor.
very timid response. Very timid response from the rest of the class. What's going on? So I'm sharing my, looks like I'm sharing my screen. And let's see, I see, uh, yeah, 10 people currently here in the Collaborate. Let's just check how many people are. Okay, looks like, okay, so 10. 10 in the, currently 10 in the Collaborate, 10 in the forum. So the numbers match, but the, we have like 26 people on the roster, 26, 28 on the roster. So we're still missing half the class. I hope the other half is going to join us shortly. Um, just one more thing. Let me, you must have received the email already
Yeah.
about,
Professor, I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's that I have another class that is the same with you, but like the same as that you have to create a thread for every class as like to state that you are here, and so I was confused. But I already add the thread on the forum.
okay, all right, Sebastian. So you're saying you're taking FMD 230. Is that right?
250.
No. I don't do 250. 250 is uh what's this? Yanni.
Yeah,
Yanni,
I'm with him
yeah,
too.
Tunas.
Yeah, and
250
he's
is
also doing the same as you. So I was confused on the blackboard.
okay, so look, uh so unless it is the same day, right? Are you also taking 250 on Saturday?
No. It's that when you go on the blackboard,
Mhm.
I just click on the finance and FMB, and then I didn't realize it was 250, but 300. Then I was lost, but I'm already on the thread, so all good.
Okay, good. As long as you are in the discussion board, and having established your uh, record of attendance, then good. Now, one more thing. Next Saturday, it's Lincoln's birthday. Okay, I mean, Lincoln's birthday. I believe it used to fell on Monday, but I mean, someone's birthday cannot. I mean, the date cannot change. But what I'm saying is, depending on uh, I believe Lincoln's birthday is February 12th, but the days may change. So we have no class next Saturday. Okay, so uh, don't get confused. But the lecture videos will still be released per schedule. So uh, even though there is a like holiday, um, or for some reason we have an off day, still the videos will still be released so that you can study in advance. Okay. So even during the spring break, the lecture videos will still be released according to the schedule. Okay. Um, so that way we won't be, usually the amount of material that I cover per semester is actually very challenging, right? It's so challenging to finish everything within 14 weeks. So we have to be very diligent, and we have to stay ahead. And then otherwise we can't even barely finish it. So you have to be, it should be in your system, almost, ruthless military efficiency, and even, mechanical diligence, right? All righty. So with that, that being said, right? And just let me check one more time. Now I have 18 people. Let's see if I have 18 people here. I still have only 15. What's going on? 3 people still need to join. But anyway, we'll just, hope, we'll just assume that they are going to join pretty soon. So last time, we did this example, right? We were working on this example. So I want you need to have this open, okay? You need to have this open in front of you. Okay, I'm gonna change this to in this range. Doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna change. Okay. So why I made that change in notation? It doesn't really matter, because it means coupon rate, whether it is it should be I subscript C, or just C. It means the same thing. So do you have this file all in front of you, everyone? And in the last class,
Yes, Professor.
Okay, good. We have completed all the way to this. And in row 19, we used the price command to find, price. We don't need to use price command, but and I prefer not to use price command, because to use price command, you have to express all the price as percentage of the par value. Of course, the par value is 1,000, so it's 100%, right? And then the payment, coupon payment, this is coupon payment. Coupon payment is $27.50, but because it's percentage of par value, 2.75. So it's a little bit cumbersome to express. Then we know the bond par value of the bond is 1,000, but we have to express everything in terms of in percentage of the par value. So that's cumbersome. But when you have specific dates, then we need to use price command. But even without specific dates, we had no problem finding the price of the bond, because we have maturity, right? And as long as you have maturity, then you get it. And also, the way we did it before, right? We don't have to we don't have to express the price in percentage. The price will be dollar price. So there will be no confusion about that. Now, let's go to row 15. This is an exercise about, again, this is an exercise about finding yield to maturity. And in this example, we needed price of the bond as given. In other words, market price. And I've been telling you here in this one, this is exactly we are using this as given, right? I simply turn this into negative, right? In other words, I thought it was given, right? $1,150 was given. So that's the market price. As I've been telling you, market price is not something that is, calculated. Market price is what you just look up, right? So then, given this price, a bond that pays $35 coupon every 6 months for 8 years will be priced to, it must yield this. That's why I've been saying the wording, they never say this is the discount rate, but I've been telling you, there are 3 types of wordings. One, the bond is priced to yield 4.73%. Yes, it is priced by the market to yield this. Under these conditions, right, it has to give you this yield, right? So this is the discount rate. But again, when yield is given, then this is the unknown, right? But when this is given, yield is the unknown, okay? And also, then let's do this. Given this as the price of the bond, let's find the yield. But again, where did this come from? It should be given. And I used actually here in this example, right? This yield is given. This price, I use this price simply. I use that price. So given that price, see, I multiplied it by 10, so it will be in 1,000 regular price. So then coupon rate is 3.5, so coupon payment is $35 a year. So by half year, it should be this. It goes without saying. And then 4 years left to maturity. Now, do we need to do this again? You can use rate command, but we used rate command last time. So this time I'm not going to do this again. Instead, I will simply copy this and paste that here. Oops. Oh, something must have been locked. Okay. Maybe something was locked. So let me go over this again. End periods, F18, payment, D15, present value, I15. Was it negative? Maybe it wasn't negative, that's why. In other words, you must always have one input. So that one input that must be negative is always cash outflow, right? As long as it is, and A15 is, of course, nothing else. It should be that. Hit enter. Yeah. Oh, not because. What happened? You cannot have negative rate. So something went. I-15 and periods, payment, present value, I-15 should be negative, future value, A-15. What's wrong? What's wrong? Okay, let me make this negative. Make this negative, and then just leave it like that. All right, let's do this again. There can be no rate function. I was going to just copy that and something isn't right. Present value, I-15. Future value, A-15. Why is it giving me negative? Return cannot be negative. This is weird.
Professor, is it because your yield is negative?
What?
The yield is your yield is negative.
Yield is the result. Look, yield is the result of this. In other words, we have to find half year return first and multiply that by 2 to arrive at yield. Right? Yield cannot be negative. Think about it. Yield it cannot be negative. And it's exactly, I just simply copied this into this. So it should so something wasn't quite right.
Of the original page, but the original spreadsheet that you gave us, it didn't have page 180 though. I see you just recently added you see the
I don't have what?
The original spreadsheet that you created on the web. It's only one. Yeah.
You mean, look, last time I expanded this, I told you, you don't see row.
Yeah,
you don't see row 10. You don't see row 10 through 16. Do you see row 10 through 16?
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see now.
Because I collapsed, right? I collapsed those. I made it because those were just extra exercises. I hid those rows, and then later, right? I expanded it, so so we could do these, extra examples, and this is the same example as this one, row 12, right? So it should work exactly the same, but whatever, I don't know, what it must be a glitch, because what worked for this, it should work for this too. And I just wanted to show you that since it's the same formula, you can just copy and just paste. But think about it. First of all, yield cannot be negative, right? And if yield is negative, that means if yield is negative, that means you are actually paying interest for lending money. But that cannot happen. Yield can be negative in terms of real interest rate, in terms of real, after adjusting for inflation, But, nominally, before adjusting for inflation, no yield can be negative, because it's like, if yield is not nominally, if yield is negative, that means like nominal interest rate is negative. Think about it. What does that mean? Nominal interest rate being negative. What does that mean? When you lend money, right? The borrower should pay interest. That interest is your yield, right? That interest is your yield. And you won't lend money at all if you're not getting any interest, right? And then think about it. If you're getting negative interest, that's like you're lending money, but you're still paying interest to the borrower. So that kind of situation can only happen only under one condition. Either Swiss bank, right? If you put your money in the Swiss bank, right, you don't get interest from the Swiss bank, but you pay interest. Why? Everyone knows, because people who put their money in Swiss bank account are the ones, extremely wealthy people who have very shady, who have to hide their wealth. You understand? Swiss bank or offshore banking, people who put their money in the offshore banking or Swiss banks are, very wealthy people, but whose path to amassing that wealth isn't very clean. You understand? Drug money, or organized crimes, mafia, or dirty politicians. They all have offshore banking account, and those people pay interest. It's fee, actually. They pay fee to hide their money in Swiss bank, right? So if you pay interest for lending money, right, that's either that case, Swiss bank, offshore banking, or they're trying to discourage people from saving money, right? Why? Because economy is depressed. Economy is deeply depressed, and if the economy is depressed, then you have to increase money supply. To increase money supply, they have to move all the money out of the banking, a savings account. If the money is in the if the money is all tied up in the bank, not being, and the bank has nobody wants to borrow, even the businesses don't want to borrow, then the money in the banking system isn't actually utilized for the economy. So then they can charge interest for keeping money in the bank. Then, that will discourage saving. And then rather than, putting money in the bank, and you all know, I've been telling you over and over, I've been telling you this over and over in Finance 100, that keeping money in the bank, saving is like, lending, right? You guys, you should understand this, because this is 300. When you are putting your money in the bank, you are passively lending money to the bank, right? Saving and lending are not two different things. When you save money in the bank, you are making a loan. You are lending passively to the bank, right?
Yeah.
And then that's why the bank pays interest to you. But then if you have to pay interest to the bank for putting your money in the bank, then nobody would do that. Instead, they will put the money directly into the financial market. Rather than keeping money in the bank, they will rather put the money in the financial market. Right? Makes sense? That's why. So only under those two scenarios, there can be negative interest rate. But here, I don't know why. Something's not. It must be a
Professor, I
glitch.
think it's because you are calculating the yield on the exercise P180 without the coupon. Like you just add the coupon. The
No, no,
coupon
coupon. Look, coupon payment is here.
should be 7%, not 4.3.
Oh, no, 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 no. This is half year rate, half year rate. Yeah, maybe, but still, it should be the same thing. It doesn't look. Coupon rate doesn't enter this formula. Okay, again.
Okay.
Coupon rate doesn't enter that formula, right? End periods, A, payment. This is the payment.
No, I mean on the example P180, I'm getting 2.36 yield on with the coupon that you have there. You don't have it.
Row 12. Row 12.
Yeah, row 12.
Yeah. Look, that's N periods, right? N,
Yeah.
F12, right? D12, that's payment, D12. I12, the present value, which is, there. A12, future value. That's it. Right? So
Wait,
if I copy this, paste here, it should give exactly this. But why is it still doing this?
mm,
Okay. So I'm going to look into this. It must be a glitch because no return can be negative. I mean, mathematically, so but it's also possible. I mean, if you pay this, think about it. You're buying this bond, and if you're paying this, right, and you get just $35 a year for 4 years only, and then at maturity you get this, it could end up in a negative return. I mean, mathematically. But let's increase this. If I have
Professor, I have a question. How you get the value on column I row 15, like the present value?
I15, I used this. I simply, I took because this is not something calculated. This is not something calculated. This is something you just look up.
Okay.
Right? I've been telling you, market price is not something you calculate because market price is already market price is already set by the market. In other words, this is the result of demand and supply. This is the result of the latest transaction in the market, which was purely by demand and supply. So this is a given data. This is the given data. You have to understand. You have to distinguish between given input data or initial input data and the calculated results. So if I increase this to, let's say, 8 years, and then it may, I mean, if you have,
Yeah, the thing is that you are putting like the value that is there, like I22, and I22 is the like 127.68 that is on the row that is like right next. So I'm just lost a little bit in there, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. about the value of the like the present value.
Mm-hmm. Why? I think this is not the one. It's just a. I don't need this thing. Oh no, please. New whiteboard. They are trying to. Okay. I don't need new whiteboard. Okay, just give me the old whiteboard. I think it was this one. All right. So, look, what I'm trying to say is the point is, right? It can still make sense. Let's say this is time 0, right? And this is end of year 4, right? So make it. So you understand why it is 8, right? 8 semesters, right? The bond is on a bond is on semi-annual cycle, so semi-annual. These are all semesters, and think about it. You pay. What was that? 1,000. Remember the price? 1,076, almost 77. You pay 1,277, and just collect annually 35, 35, 35, 35, and here you receive also 1K, right? But then think about it. The present value of this and the present value of all of these, right, may be less than. It can be less than this. In other words, present value of 1,000, present value of all these annuities can be less than this. If it is less than what you pay for, then of course, then the yield will have to be negative, right? The yield will have to be negative. So in other words, if we had only 4 years left, and if the coupon was just like this, it may result in negative yield. So obviously, if that's the case, you don't buy such a bond, right? If that's the case, you don't buy. That's one lesson from this. If that's the case, you don't buy such a bond. But let's see if the time left is something like 8 years. Make it 10 years. Make it 10 years. Then so many like $35 coupons for the next 10 years. It might flip it over. It might change the equation, or it might change that inequality sign, right? If that is the case, it might change the inequality sign. So let me try that. with with enough. So there was nothing wrong with the with what we did. It's just that the coupon payment was not very attractive, right? To justify paying this. I just took this, right? I just took this from this because I needed something, and then that only explains, right, that the coupon payment and the time left maturity were not attractive enough, right? Or not, good enough to justify paying this price, right? But if that happens, you have a choice. I mean, you can check, you can calculate return this way, and if it is negative, you simply don't have to buy such a bond, right? Does that make sense, everyone?
Professor.
All righty, Damien, that's just you, one person. How about the rest of the class? How about the rest of the class?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, sure. All righty. And then black money. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, I think this was the answer to right." That was a rhetorical question. You all knew, right? You all know that people with dirty slosh funds, people with slosh funds, dirty money, black money, right? They are the ones hiding money, hiding their wealth from tax authorities. The main reason is. So where was I? Oh yeah, we're still. And we still need to. Then we found yield. Right, by using rate command. Of course, by using rate command, what we find is the half year yield. Of course, to find full year yield, you must simply multiply it by 2. Now, but there is also just like price command, the Excel has built-in command for yield, which is yield actually. So here 4 years, 8 years. I mean, it would give you the same result. I mean, with time left, and because I'm using $1,276 as the present value, market price of the bond. It will give me the negative. It will give me the negative return. So let's see if it's going to give me the negative return, negative yield. But if you change this to 10 years, it should give me the same result. So let's see. Let me just change this to match this. Okay. Then we'll see if this is going to come to 0.64. Right?
I think that one is different, even if you change it because the payment is less. The coupon is 175, and the other one is 17.
No, once again, I've been telling you over and over, it's not $1.75. Everything is expressed as percentage.
The payment on top.
Yeah, payment. It's 1750. This means 1750, right? Is everyone clear about that? This is 1750. So is to use this command, either price command or yield command. You will the price must be expressed as percentage of the par value. So this means this is not $1.75, but this means 1.75% of $1,000, the par value. So that's 1750, right? So, and as I change this to 10 to match that, the maturity date has also changed because this has changed. So let's go to yield. Okay, so we go to a function, and you have to go to the financial category. And as you scroll down, it's in alphabetical order. So at the bottom you will find yield. There you go. There's yield. Okay, and it's asking for settlement date. That's the settlement date, right? Settlement, which is this date, today's date. Of course, when I made this, I mean, in the example, the date it was 2011. We can also put today's date. It doesn't really matter, right? But and the maturity, then this will be the maturity. Rate, that rate is the coupon rate. Okay, the rate is talking about is the coupon rate. So you enter coupon rate, and the present value, which is this, and then no. What is this? Yeah, price, redemption is this. Okay, and then frequency is always 2, because bond is on semi-annual cycle. That means twice a year, right? It pays, and then it's already giving you something here. Hit OK. Did we get the same thing? Huh? Did we get the same thing? There you go. So now you can. Did you also get the same thing? Did you all get the same result? Everyone? No? Just say it, because if you yeah, thank you. If you type into the that chat box, I will have to move. In other words, I will have to. I cannot see this while I'm looking at something else like spreadsheet or PowerPoint. I cannot see. I cannot check what's going on in here. You think if you say put into the chat box, I can see it? I'm afraid I can't see it, unless I change my screen, right? So please say it, right? Please say it. All right, if you got the same result, good. You got it. I can't say you mastered it, but at least, you got your first taste, right? You got your first taste. So now, next thing is, let's move on to this spreadsheet exercise. Again, you will see between row 22 and row 30, I mean, there's a huge, row 21 through row 29. Those rows are collapsed, right? So there are more exercises there, obviously. So here, this one was, I didn't build this. This one I just copied from the book, because that's the example in the book, right? Again, I can show you. That must be. Yeah, it's this one. It's this one. So I copied this and put into. But again, here's the problem. I don't want to. Why do you? I will put it. If you want to use any verbiage, right? Here's the thing. You should separate the verbiage from. Numerical data. In other words, you must separate the text from the numerical data, because all of these, I want to use I want to use these as data, right? In other words, I want to use this in the formula, in the model I built in here. But if the numerical data don't stand as numerical data, but mixed up together with the text, then Excel cannot operate on it. You understand? Excel cannot operate on it. I think this is still text because they arbitrarily put percentage sign there. Let me just make sure. Okay, it says percentage. Okay, good. Percentage. Okay. So hopefully this is gonna work. If it doesn't, then I will have to actually, put it as 0.0625 and then use percentage. Okay, and then this is maturity, right? We know the uppercase T means maturity, right? So this is maturity, right? Maturity. Now, this is my own pet peeve. So please excuse me for that. All those fonts. It's okay. Usually, the rates are always, rates are always expressed. Rates are always, italicized. I mean, that's a convention. But then, parenthesis doesn't need to be italicized. So if it is italicized, it really bothers me. So that's my pet peeve. I mean, the label can be italicized, but it doesn't. Even the parenthesis. No, I don't want the parenthesis to be italicized. And now you understand. Everyone understands why I do this, right?
Yes.
Because I don't want that. I don't want numerical data to be mixed up with text, because if it is mixed up with text, Excel cannot operate on text. Excel can operate only on numerical data. This is not numerical data, because numerical data is supposed to be left aligned, right aligned, but this is left aligned. Text is left aligned, so something's not. Okay, it says general. I need it to be number. Okay, general's fine, but then these need to be right aligned. Again, you see there's T there. If there's T, it's useless. It becomes text, and I hate text. Okay, I hate. No, I mean, I'm not saying I hate text. I don't mean it, but texts are useless as far as Excel is concerned. Text is useless, right? They're not data. Text is just text. Okay, now they look better. No need for underline. So maturity date, settlement date. Oh, they repeat the maturity here again. That's fine. Annual coupon rate. Oh, this must have been given. I mean, some data, original data are missing, but we can find it here. 0.0625. Let me copy this. Okay. Let me do it like this. What happened? Only one copied? And then, what was the next? Oh, I shouldn't have. Looks like I deleted everything, you know. So this, when I, but this should be given, right? Because coupon rate, of course, it should be given. And what else is given? Everything in the highlighted cells, that's what we need to solve for. But the rest of them, in the blank cells, those are the initial data. I should have yield to maturity. That's so annoying. So please, you need to manually enter this. You need to manually enter this, okay? Okay, and I will need to increase decimal because that's originally, yeah, what it is. And I'm gonna turn this also into percentage. Increase decimal. So you have these data there. Did you input those data there? Okay. Percentage of redemption value would be all 100. Percentage of par value, right? Yeah, and then 2. Okay, the rest of it. I'll just drag it to the right. All right, so we're gonna, this time, what we are going to do is to find the flat price and dirty price or invoice price. Flat price and invoice price. We've done flat price or quoted price or flat price. That's the same thing. We've been doing that. It's not, what we've been doing is, this is, flat price. This is flat price. Uh, but this time we're gonna. So to do that, we need this input data all filled in there, and then it's almost 10:30, so we'll have to take a 10-minute break, and then we're gonna do this after we come back. Okay, let's take a 10-minute break. Okay, let's take a 10-minute.
Professor, can you leave the information of the Excel?
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. I'll
And
just
which
turn off.
okay, and which
Uh,
page was the which page was that information in the book? Again, I'm sorry, I went to the bathroom and then I was lost.
the page number is.
Or the
It may not be the exact page number, but doesn't it have page number here? It's spreadsheet example 10.1. I don't know what page, but let's see. It could be. It doesn't tell you what page, but in chapter
it's
10,
okay.
in chapter 10, this is the first spreadsheet example, first spreadsheet exercise, so you won't have difficulty finding it, right? All righty, I'll leave this on. I'll just mute myself. Okay, hold on.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Professor, hello? Oh, are we on break? My bad. Thank you.
Yeah, we're on break. We're on break.
All right, we're back. We're back. So let's we stopped right before finding the flat price is what we already know. I mean, there's nothing new, but to explain what is flat price. I mean, flat price is and what is dirty price. Dirty price sounds dirty, but what it means is actually um, invoice price. Invoice price. Well, now let's take a look at this. Um, the bond is, although we can calculate the bond price, right? The price, but then that price may be as of after the price that is quoted is the price as of like uh, April 30th, right? The price may be as of April 30th, but then bond pays coupon interest twice a year, semi-annually. So when is the semi-annual thing? I mean, is it January and June? I mean, when is it? Depends on when. Think about it. It depends on when the bond was issued. If the bond was issued on January 15th, then 6 months from that point will be um, uh, uh, July 15th, because think about it. February, March, April, May, June 15th is only 5 months, right? Not 6 months. From January 15th, right? So you see what I'm. Maybe it's better to use whiteboard.
So you pay extra for the bond, like depending if you're like on how many of the coupon payments you
Right.
make?
How many days have passed? How many days have passed? In other words, so the timeline, right? The bond time zero, right? Which was, let's say January 15th. 6 months from 6 months would be July 15th, and then another 6 months will be next year, right? So think about it. But the transaction can happen any point in time, right? Let's say this is April 30th, right? Um, or maybe not. Maybe this is not the best point in time, but let's say the bond may be sold on like October 30th. But then think about it. The coupon was paid at this point. Next coupon will be paid at this point. The original holder, bondholder, call it bondholder one. Bondholder one collected already first coupon, right? He got the first coupon. And then he sold it at this point. Then the second bondholder, I mean, the bondholder one will be obviously it's bondholder 1 will be holding it until this point, and then after that, it's going to be bondholder 2, right? So this guy's the bondholder 1 is the seller of this bond, not the original issuer, but the seller. He bought it, in the primary market. He just happened to be the first guy to. So then the coupon will be paid, right? The coupon will be paid to the bondholder too. But for how many days is it? 3 months, right? August, September, more than 3 months, 3 months and 15 days, it was under bondholder 1. So in other words, the next coupon, second coupon, the second coupon will have to be split. In other words, for half the time, it was under bondholder 1. So it's going to be only fair to split it between by the fraction of the days bondholder 1 held it, and by the fraction of the days the bondholder 2 is holding it. So then think about it. When the second coupon is paid, will bondholder 2 call bondholder 1 and tell him, oh, second coupon payment is paid, so I'm willing to split this with you? I mean, is it going to happen like that? No, it's not going to happen like that, right? Nobody will. I mean, it's going to be hard to trace, and all these transactions are anonymous, right? Think about it. Stocks or bonds, your broker executes the transaction, and it's stocks and bonds are not delivered to you unless you specifically request it to be delivered to you. But it's held within the brokerage, right? It's held as also called held in street name, held on the street name, meaning street address of the brokerage. So nobody does, nobody can, nobody will track down, the previous holder, bondholder, and nicely, we'll split. No, when you pay, when the transaction happens, right at this point already. So to avoid that complex situation, right? When the transaction happens, the price will already include 30-day. I mean, this is more than this is like 3 months, 15 days, right? The invoice price will already include the flat price plus the accrued interest, right? Accrued interest for these many days. Does that make sense? Right? I think it's not difficult to understand. I mean, I don't think anybody would say, how come? I don't think so. So everyone is okay with that concept, right? That's what is called invoice price or dirty price.
I'm just a bit confused. So you pay more based on?
Yeah. In other words, the buyer pays. In other words, the bondholder too pays the price that already includes accrued interest, right?
Professor,
Mm-hmm.
For the first week videos, I read something that you could find them on YouTube. Where exactly would you find them?
The videos that are no longer visible, the videos are there only for 1 week, right? So the past videos that have, that are already passed. And the email went out, but also, in the announcement, it says clear, if you go to, everything that is emailed out is posted here. So look it up, right? And this is the my playlist. I mean, they say, my YouTube channel, my YouTube channel. I don't know
Okay.
I don't know my YouTube channel. I mean, it's just my name. I think my
All right.
my YouTube channel is
That's
Jeff
what I was.
Hong.
That's what I was confused about. I didn't
Yeah.
know what the YouTube channel was, but I'll just look up your name on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No. Listen. There will be, probably you will get more than 2 dozen YouTube channel names, like with Jeff Honk, right? You can go to the playlist, and only one of them is my channel. So I never named it different. When I opened account with YouTube, it's just my Google Gmail account. So it was Jeff Honk. But later, obviously you can you can you can expect so many people using that as their Google name. So obviously there will be multiple YouTube channel name Jeff Funk. So if you cannot find it like that, you will have to go through a dozen channels. So I gave you. You can see this, right? Everyone is seeing this, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Professor. Yes.
Yeah. This announcement, right? The
Yes.
post
Yes.
announcement, right? So that's the playlist, right? That's the playlist, right? Alrighty, where was I? So,
Sorry about that.
no problem. Back to the question. So someone asked, so do you pay more? Yeah, the second bondholder will have to pay more than the flat price, because when you are paying forward, or you're paying in advance, you're paying this forward, right? Accrued interest, you're paying accrued interest forward, because later you will get it, right? On January 15th, you will get half year coupon, right? You'll get another coupon, and then the bondholder one is entitled to like half of that, right? Does that make sense, everyone?
So the bondholder is entitled to half of the payment on January 15th on the next year, when he doesn't have the bond.
Right. Because look, the bondholder one, distinguish between bondholder one and bondholder two. Bondholder one sold it on like October 30th, right? Then the interest that is paid in the second 6 months, right? On interest coupon that is paid on this date, at least for this length of time, it was under his possession, right? He was holding it until October 30th. So he's entitled to half the interest. Half is not, whatever it is, the
So
fraction of the interest that is proportionate to this time.
so because bondholder one
Welcome back
sold
to
the bond to bondholder two,
Okay.
he is owed. So it's not the issuer that's owed the interest, it's the
Right,
borrower one.
he's owed.
And this is welcome back. This is to the continuing lectures.
What is all that noise?
Now,
Because you're all unmuted.
last
When
video,
you're not speaking, please mute yourself. You're playing. I'm sure you're playing my videos, and you are unmuted. So that background noise is all,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So so that was interfering. So if I heard you correctly, the someone asked, still the same person asked the question, the same person still asked the
Yeah.
question. So the bondholder one is owed, right? That much interest. Yes, of course, bondholder one is owed as much interest as uh, uh, you know the fraction of the interest that is proportionate to this length of time. Does that make sense?
Yes,
So
but
that, yeah,
the other
that will
question
have
I
to be, that
uh,
will
uh,
have to be included in the price, invoice price, so that, in other words, you're not going to call him, this guy, bondholder two, when he gets the coupon payment, will he contact bondholder one? Do they know each other? Will they call? Will this guy call him and, hey, I got a second coupon payment, so get your share, right? I'm gonna, I'm willing to pay you this, so come and get your share. I mean, is that what's gonna happen? Huh? It's not gonna happen like that. So when you are selling it, the price will include already, right? The accrued interest for that time. Right? That's what's called invoice price.
but it's bondholder one selling the bond, not the issuer of the bond, right?
Yes, that's right. In other words, the issuer is a different thing, right? Uh, of course, issuer is the company, right? It was issued, right? The bond was issued at time zero by a company, right? Company is the issuer, bondholder one is the buyer, right? But the bond can be bought and sold. That's why it's called the trading. Make sense? Uh, Trading means what? Someone is selling, someone is buying. And the original issuer is not necessarily the seller. I mean, original issuer is the seller only in the primary market, right? At time zero, the original issuer is the seller, but after that, right, it's all secondary market, right?
I understand. Thank you, Professor, for
Okay,
clarifying.
you're welcome. All righty, so that's okay. What we are trying to do. Someone left a chat, I think. All righty, Bonnie.
Oh, sorry, Professor. It was me. I just put on the chat your channel, your YouTube channel, so
Okay,
anyone can have.
okay, all righty. Um, please subscribe, like, and subscribe if you like it. I didn't make it for that purpose, but all those YouTubers always say, if you liked it, please like and subscribe. I I hate that, but if you liked it, please like and subscribe. Um, it's not like my face is on it. In none of this, because I don't put my face on it. The purpose is not to. The purpose is to deliver this lecture. Okay, so flat price. I mean, this is something we already know. It's not nothing new. We can use the price command, right? We can use price command as usual, right? That's what is, you see, where did I put it? Yeah, you can use, it's not, nothing difficult. So let's try that. Function, we'll use price. PR, where are you? Price. There you go. And okay. Settlement date. There you go. Maturity date. There you go. And then the rate. This is the coupon rate. and yield, yeah, yield to maturity, right? Redemption value is always, 1,000, right? Frequency is 2, right? What we did horizontally previously, we do this vertically this time, and then hit enter. Yeah, and you don't even need to do the rest of them. It will just, drag it to the right. Okay, and make sure this is. We'll check. Is that the? Yeah, 137,444, 11181. That's what we got there, right? Days since last coupon. So and we need coupon days base, this is also built-in command, coupon days base. That means, how many days are, how many days have passed? How many days have passed, right? So if the maturity date is this and settlement date is this, obviously that's when the coupon is paid. In other words, so we can tell nothing, 0 days, but we'll let Excel find it. So coupon days base, coupon, right? Yeah. So give it what it's asking for. Settlement, there you go. Maturity, there you go. Frequency, of course, 2. Basis, we can use, actual 1 or 0. We'll just leave it as 0, right? If it, once again, if it is numerical data, it should be right aligned. And then I can copy and drag it to the right, 90 days. So yeah, if it is November, maturity date is November, but the settlement, you bought it in October, right? Then 3 months apart, right? 90 days, right? But let's see what basis they use. 0 is, in the U.S. National Association of Security Dealers uses 30 day per month, 360 day a year. If you use 1, that's actual, actual number of days. I think the book used 1. Let's see what they used. They used 1. Okay. Actual number of.
The link that, well, the book that is that is on the McPherson, I'm sorry, McGraw-Hill, the new one is completely the spreadsheet that is on the book is completely different.
Maybe
it's the same dynamic that you're doing, but it's like different values.
Yeah, different input value. That can happen, because as they it doesn't really matter, because every addition they can always make a little adjustment, little change, and it doesn't negate the value of the meaning of the exercise that you do. I mean, the dates may be different, coupon rate may be different, but it doesn't matter. I cannot make that adjustment as they put out every edition. I will just have to keep, right? But look, you are doing, as long as you are doing this Excel exercise, you are using my template. So if you're using my template, it would be easier to work with my input data, right? Because that's what is given. I mean, when I made this material, right? It was based on whatever edition it was. So it is based on. So anyway, so let's do this again. Frequency B30 basis, coupon day, settlement, maturity, frequency, and then I will put 1 so that it will be actual, right? And then you see this becomes 92 actual. So that's actual. We're using coupon day basis 1, which is actual number of days in the month, actual number of days in year, and days in coupon period. So you see, you need to check it with this, because this is, the book has, this is, what book uses, you see here, 1, coupon day basis, days in coupon period. So coupon days command, right? So that means how many days are within each coupon payment. So of course, it's half year. So half year is what? You think, oh, so half year must be 182 days. Why? Because 1 year is 165. So half of that is actually 182.5. But of course, you don't, the trading doesn't end in a half day, right? So it depends on, look, whether coupon day basis is 0, then it will be 180 days. But we use actual 1, right? So if we use 1, you will see so first thing is settlement. And then maturity date. So when I'm doing this, I want you to do this with me, because if you just watch blank, right? You will be missing this. You got to do this with me. I'm not going that fast. I'm taking my time, so it won't be that difficult to catch up. Maturity, right? And then frequency, of course, 2. Basis, I will enter 1, right? One. Okay. My keyboard is, this Bluetooth keyboard is slow. Okay. And you might wonder, what? 184 days? I mean, how can it be possible? I mean, I'll explain to you. I'll explain to you later. So that means, between each coupon payment, there are 184 days. This makes more sense, but this half year, how can it be 184? Half year, I mean, that means, 1 year is 368 days. I mean, is that right? I mean, something, but you will see, that's what it is. But why? Okay, any question? You must wonder why. I'll get to that. My throat is getting very dry. I gotta drink something. Ready? Well, I brewed some coffee during the break, but it got all cold. Okay, in thermal jog, so it's in the jog, so it's not that bad. All right, so 184 days, half year, then times 2 is going to be 368 days. I mean, that's not, but think about it. Think of it this way. We have 1 year is 365, but if we consider it's because we have 30 days and 31 days, and February is 28 days, right? February is 28 days. So if the February is full month, then it would be also 30 days, because January is 31, February 30. But then that will make it, you just have 2 more days, and that will make it 367 a year, right? 367 days. Still, half year is not 184. Look, if February, normally February is 28, but leap year 29. So if February, leap year, if we make February a full month, then it should be 31. I mean, that's the only explanation. Then 1 year is 368. That's the only explanation, right? So this is, like maximum number of days, right? And then this is the third bond, the third example. The first bond has coupon rate of this, second bond has coupon rate of this, third bond has coupon rate of 8% and 30 years, and then it's also semi-annual. But this one somehow, I don't know why this one only this one gave 182. But that's what it is. Then we calculate accrued interest. Accrued interest we only need to think about it. There is nothing to make adjustment here, because there is 0 days have passed since the last coupon. 0 day has passed, but this one 92 out of 184, right? By that fraction, 92 over 184, we just need to make adjustment to this coupon, right? Multiply this by, divide this by 2. First of all, we all know 1,000 times, right? This divided by 2, and then times 92 over 4. This is not math. This is, I mean, it's math. It's not formula. It's just logic, right? It's just a logical process. So see what's going on here. Yeah, this is not even any command. This is not any command. It's just logic, right? You're making that adjustment, okay? So all you need to do is making it. If this is positive number, it's going to give you a positive fraction, right? And then multiply that by coupon rate times the par value, right? And then divide it by, right? Coupon frequency, right? That's going to be 0. But, you know, if you drag it to the right, we'll get, that's $10.90, right? Let's see if that's the result there. $10.90, 0, right? Let's see. Increase decimal. Yeah, if you increase decimal, you get exactly this. Then the invoice price. Look, invoice price is then simply the sum of these two, sum of this and accrued interest. Of course, there's no change here, but oops, what happened? I didn't put anything there. Sum of this and this, parenthesis, and then drag it to the right. Okay, so this is not 137. It's $1,374.40, $1,129.10, and $810.70. You know, you got to remember all these prices are expressed as percentage of the par value, right? So check. Is that? Yeah. 137,444, 112, 913, 8107. So yeah, I will use 3 decimal places because let's give it 3 decimal places. One more, because anyway, it's $1,374.44. I mean, we need, you know, up to the cent, right? So we got this. We have, you know, we finished this. And any questions so far? Any question?
Yeah, Professor, can you
Yeah.
go again on the accurate interest?
Yeah. Hold on. I will put it into a. I will put everything into a formula. I'll put everything into the formula view. Okay.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. I think it's better to do it like this. To give a full. Okay. Maybe, you know, that part you may not need. Maybe I can. Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions? No. If you have no more questions, then the next one. Next one is, I think this is not a difficult thing. I mean, if you have done one, it's, let me turn it back into normal view. This one is just comparing how much difference there is between, semi-annual coupon and annual coupons, and it's actually pretty much the same thing. Semi-annual will give you higher yield, slightly, but it's almost, there's no almost no difference. All you need to do is, we already know the yield command, right? The only difference will be this and this, right? So here, using yield command, settlement date, there you go, maturity date, rate means coupon rate all the time, price, flat price, right? Redemption value, always 100, right? Frequency, in this case, 2. See, 6%. Here, we do the same thing. Just copy and paste there. Just slight difference. But even this one, let's increase the decimal. I mean, here, of course, D52 is coupon frequency, right? This is practically, if you increase decimal. Oh, okay. Even if you increase decimal, but it's almost insignificant. Still, semi-annual will give you better yield, right? Because more coupons, more coupons, although it's it has to do with discounting, I mean, 6-month discounting and, discounting by semi-annual discounting and annual discounting will result in higher yield. Now, so everyone got the same result? Did everyone? I need your response, right? I need your confirmation. So you got the same result, right?
Yes, Professor.
All right. If you didn't get the same result, don't hesitate to ask anytime. Okay. All righty.
Hey,
So,
Professor.
Yeah.
So I haven't did Excel in a while, and do you know any sources I could use to sharpen up my skills for Excel?
Look, I don't know. I mean,
Can I answer that, Professor?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
The Learning Resource has a lab that they offer during the week and stuff.
Okay, thank you, Damien.
Yeah.
Yeah, they may have. I'm sure they have. Excel special, refresher, refresher course, but listen, I don't find Excel particularly, a challenging part of this, because I just showed a couple of things that are more frequently used in Bond, but those commands, in other words, pre-built commands, they are not really the main thing. These things we can all do without using these commands. Mostly it's the logic. I mean, using the, we only build in the formula there. And the formulas are what we already know for pricing. But for finding the rate, we have to rely on the rate command, because when it involves annuity, right? When it involves annuity, there is no unique solution, one unique formula for uh, the right solution. So we have to, because that's the nature of annuity. Then we have to rely on this, but otherwise it's all just formula, right? And because the book is introducing these coupon days base, all these things, I had to show you those, but we can do this all without using those commands. And another thing is, you don't need to know 100% everything about Excel. We only need to know what we need to know. We only need to know what we use. Okay, and that we learn as we go by. As we go on, we pick it up one by one. We don't. It's like this, when you learn to drive. I mean, you drive a car, but just because you drive a car, you don't need to know everything about the engineering. In other words, how to make a car. You just need to drive. You don't need to build a car. I mean, if you want to build a car, you need to know about the fuel system. You need to know about the electrical system in the car. You need to know about the mechanical system. You need to know everything. And then you need to be able to build, you need all that to build a car. But if you are just driving the car, you just need to know what you need to know to drive the car, right? Of course, it doesn't hurt to be able to change the tire, change the oil, but that's it. And the rest of it is, I don't know everything about Excel, but I know enough. I know everything I need to know to use Excel for my purpose, right? I need to know, basically, this is the most precious, data analysis. This is the most precious part of Excel, right? Basically, regression, histogram, descriptive statistics, right? Moving averages, exponential smoothing, all these things, covariance, correlations, ANOVA. But those things, because I know those things, as an economist, I've done econometrics, which is, basically an extension of statistics. Econometrics more of inferential statistics, whereas statistics, what they call statistics is more on descriptive statistics. But because I'm an economist, I know those things, and I need to do those things on Excel, or if it is not Excel, on other softwares like SAS or eViews or SPSS or whatever it may be, or Mathematica. But Excel for you, that's not even necessary. I mean, most that you need would be, the financial functions. And most of them, you don't even, financial category, you don't even need any of these. You don't need, at best, coupon days, yeah, but you just learned coupon days and future value, interest rate, rate, of and of all these, financial commands, you won't be needing all of them. You won't be needing all of them. Just a few: yield, price, coupon days, present value rate, NPV, N, right? N periods. All these things from, if there are probably less than 30% of this you need, right? Not even 30%. So these things you just learn as we go on. You cannot know all of it. Okay. Oh, that's already, it's already 11:32. So I think this is a good time to take a break. So let's take a 10-minute break. Okay. Let's take a 10-minute.
Professor, well,
Yeah.
I know, I have a question. I got the book, and it says that in order for me to get access to the
Oh, yeah, look. I haven't set it up yet.
Okay.
So when I set it up, I will post it in the announcement and it will be emailed out to you. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, I was
All righty.
wondering that.
All righty. So let's take a 10-minute. Okay? All right, we're back. We're back. Let's see. I still have 18 people, and let me check. I have 20 people actually, so 2 are still missing. I have 20 people in the forum and only 18 here, so 2 are still missing. Okay, so now let's move on to the next next section. You know, we already talked about this bond yield. Yield discussed already in the first class, first week, the difference between yield to maturity and current yield. And we talked about this. And then we, this is also Finance 100 thing. There are callable bonds. Bonds, you know, the bond we've been talking about so far is called straight bond, but there are callable bonds and puttable bonds. Puttable bonds are callable bond. Callable bonds are the bonds that you can, the company can recall. Okay, recall, right? But that is, you know, the reason is, you know, for refinancing, right? So I'm not going to go back to I'm not going to go back to this a lot, but I must have also talked about puttable bonds here. But so in case of so let me use this. Not all the bonds are callable. I mean, callable bonds are born as callable bonds. How do you know it is born as callable bonds? In the bond indenture, indenture is basically like the bond contract. Bond indenture is like the stock prospectus. Prospectus is, you know, basically the statement that explains everything about the stock, right? That particular issue, right? So it's like a agreement, you know. This bond, this stock is, you know, issued with the, you know, initial par value of something, and no, it doesn't say initial par value, because par value would be you can state that because, you know, in the IPO market, the IPO price could be as higher than the par value or lower than the par value. But anyway, it's gonna pay dividends, you know, or, you know, it carries voting right. I mean, these things, you know, what company, and, you know, all these things are detailed in the prospectus. Just like that, you know, indenture is the prospectus in bond, and in the bond indenture explains everything, whether it is, you know, callable or not. And I believe I have the screen grab of that somewhere. Yeah, this is the bond indenture. I had to put it, you know, I had to put it on the side, you know, horizontally, because otherwise, you know, authorized, you know, authorized to sell up to $250 million, December 31st, you know, 1993, dated October 30, 1991, and interest. Chemical bank, you know, a trustee is the chemical bank, you know, and so on. It gives, you know, details, you know, when the it's like each August 11 as follows, you know, callable. It says callable. This is callable as a whole or in part at any time on or after August 12th, 2002, right? At the option of the company. So it's the call option. Like in stock, it's the call option. It's at the option of the company. Or at least 30, but not more than 60 days notice to each August 11th as follows, right? On these dates is callable for these prices, So in the indenture, it will be, you can tell whether it is a straight bond or callable bond. If it is callable, that means the issuer can recall the bond. And this is FNB 100 material, so you should already know what callable bond is. Now, if the bond is called, it said, on or after 2000, August 2000, that means that's the call protection period. Call protection period, right? So time 0, and let's say this is the maturity. And for the first, couple of years, right? Let's say year N, they cannot call. It's called call protection period. And after that, they can call anytime. But as you reach maturity, as you're getting closer to the maturity, the chances of call will go down. But why do they do that? If you call, right, let's say you called here. Why? Because the overall interest rate in the market has gone down, right? Suppose when they sold the bond, their coupon rate was 10%. Let's say the coupon rate was 10%. And it's because overall market rate was, let's say, 8%. Overall market rate was 8%. And this bond, so if on average they paid 8%, and if this bond was like a triple A bond, they may have paid, they didn't have to pay high interest to attract investors. But if this was a not very highly rated company, maybe triple B company, triple B isn't that bad, but still not better than, single A. So they had to pay more than prevailing market rate to attract the bondholders. But 10% coupon is very burdensome. Think about it. If you have to pay 10% interest annually, that is very burdensome, right? If you borrowed, $1 million and paying 10% interest rate annually, it's like $100,000 annually. That's very burdensome. So what you can do instead is, so if the overall, you make it a callable bond so that after year N, if the overall interest rate went down to, let's say, 3%, then if the interest rate went down to 3%, you can sell the bond at the coupon rate of 5%, right? This, and refinance the project. I mean, at first, initially, think about it. You did this. Initially, you sold, let's say $200 million worth of bonds, $200 million worth of bonds. Why? Because you needed this to finance the project that the company is undertaking. For example, if it is Tesla, you need to expand production capacity. Production capacity, right? Production capacity, which means, building more, plant, right? Building more plant. You need money, right? You need funding to build more plant. So what do? Either you sell stock or sell bonds or some combination. So let's say you sold bond for 200 million. And remember, Elon Musk would not like, majority shareholders. Elon Musk doesn't like majority board of directors meddling in. I don't know if you remember, a couple of years, maybe about 2 years ago, there was a saying that Tesla was seeking to go private. Does anybody remember that? No?
Yes, Professor. And then they got like sued by the SEC or something because
Yeah.
the stock price increased.
Right. Who was this? Was it Louis?
Yes.
Yeah, Louis. Yeah. I don't remember the detail after what the SEC related details, but there was basically board of directors, right? The board of directors was meddling in this and that, and Elon Musk really hated that. So what he wanted to do was, there was a saying he was trying to borrow money from some Saudi prince, some Saudi financier, or some Saudi prince. So was it? It doesn't have to be Saudi, but could be a Arab Emirate or some oil money financier, Middle Eastern oil money financier. He borrowed money and what? He just bought out. He wanted to buy out the shareholders. So this is quite unusual because most of the times, they want to take company public. They want to take company public, right? They want to take company public. That's the case usually, IPO, and that's how. But it's the opposite. The company that was public, he wanted to take private by buying out these meddling board of directors. But of course, it didn't go through. But I mean, this would be a quite fitting example. I mean, Elon Musk sold $2 million, raised $2 million by selling $2 million worth of bonds, and then he used that money to buy out. He uses that money to buy out the meddling shareholders. But anyway, whatever it may be, but they borrow money to expand the production capacity, right? But at the time, they had to pay 10% interest. Then 10% of annually, 10% of 200 million is 20 million already. This is a very onerous obligation, right? Very burdensome obligation. So they're not happy, I mean, although they sold, bonds for 200 million, they're not happy because of this, onerous interest rate. So they made it a callable bond, and after, let's say, let's say this is 20 years, maturity 20 years. And for the first 5 years, call protection. So they cannot call the bond. But after that, let's say in year 6. So in year 6, in year 6, the interest rate went down to 3%, the overall interest rate. Then think about it. They can refinance now. They can refinance. In other words, they can sell new bonds for the remaining 15 years or 14 years, maybe, even more, 20 years, another 20 years. For 20 years, now, because overall interest rate is 3%, they can now borrow money at 5% for another next 20 years. So then, by selling this new bond, right, new round of bonds, then they will have a proceed of 200 million. They will have, wait a minute, they will have proceeds of 200 million. With this 200 million, they can pay off. They can pay off the old bondholders, right? They can pay off the old bondholders, and say goodbye to a 10% interest rate. Of course, when you call the bond, there is something called call premium. What's a call premium? Does anyone remember the call premium? Does anyone? You guys all did Finance 100. Remember what call premium is? Anyone? You forgot everything about Finance 100, right? Call premium is like a early termination penalty, right? Think about it. This is a good chance to refinance for the company, but for the existing bondholders, this is a bad news because now they cannot earn 10% interest anymore. Even if they got their money back, right? Now the bonds that are selling in the market will be paying something like 5% or 4% or 3%, right? So it's like, depriving them of the opportunity to earn 10%. So they have to, the company must compensate for that. They cannot compensate for the foregone interest for the remaining 15 years, but at least, they pay like, early termination fee, which is just one more year interest. So they are getting, $200 million plus one more year interest, which is 20 million. I mean, that's in total, right? 20 million, which is called, call premium. Okay, you remember this? This is, basically about a callable bond. Now, the puttable bond is the opposite of this. Puttable bond is the option that the bondholder has, not the issuer. Call option is the option. Callable bond is the option with the issuer of the bond, but the puttable bond is the option with the bondholder. So puttable bond is what? I like this 10%. I don't want to, and if the bond buyers, if the bond matures, I cannot get 10% anymore. So if I have a puttable bond, I will exercise that put option and extend. If it is puttable, if the bond is puttable, you can extend the maturity so that you can earn 10%, continuously, even when the interest rate goes down. Overall interest rate, market interest rate goes down. Okay, so basically, they don't. So it's refinancing, but also official term is refunding. I mean, you are refunding the project, right? When I said refunding, in Finance 100, some students were saying, you're refunding, so you're getting your money back. Yes, of course, from the bondholders' perspective, they are getting their money back. But because usually in everyday language, in a colloquial usage of the language, people use the term refund to get the money back. But refunding means refunding the project, right? You're funding again the project at a lower interest rate. That's basically what callable bond is. So the callable bond is priced differently. Now this blue line, blue curve is the price of the straight bond when coupon rate is 8% and yield, the discount rate is 8%. It should be exactly 1,000, right? It should be exactly 1,000. You see, horizontal axis is the interest rate. In other words, this. As the interest rate changes, the price will change, of course, because interest rate is the discount rate. Oh, I hate this. Why is it? Is there any way I can get rid of this? Oh, okay. Then you see and everyone understands that when coupon rate is equal to the discount rate, you will have to be priced exactly 1,000. The par value, it will have to be exactly the par value. And as the discount rate goes down, it will have to be premium bond, right? Because if anything, if the discount rate goes below a coupon rate, it will have to be the premium bond. If discount rate goes above 8%, it will have to be coupon rate. It will have to be the discount bond. So the price will be, right? As the discount rate goes down, price will have to go up. As the discount rate goes up, price will have to go down. But then callable bond, the price will be even when the discount rate goes down, callable bond price cannot go anywhere above 1,100. Why? Because if it gets called, right, that's the maximum you can get. 1,100 is what you can get, right? Just one more year, right? Just one more year coupon payment, right? That's called premium. And if the coupon rate is 10%, then yeah, the price has to be 1,100, right? With the called premium. So again, in valuation, right? In valuing the callable bond, I have so much garbage here. So let me erase all of that. If you remember from Finance 100, right? In valuing the callable bond, you only the N is the end of call protection period. you don't, in other words, bond valuation formula, right? You should, everyone should be familiar with this. See, normally this n will be this, right? Normally this n will be this. In other words, if it is 20 years, then 40, because, semi-annual. But in bond, callable bond, you cannot use, the maturity for n, right? If this is the end of call, if year 5 is the end of the call protection period, right? This will be this, right? In other words, and then times 2, because, semi-annual is semi-annual. So, and then you give just one more year annual coupon, right? Right, as call premium, right? Call premium, right? That's how you value the callable bond. And then, so with that understanding, right? With that understanding, let's see. When interest rate goes down, right? When interest rate goes down, present value of scheduled payment. I mean, this is, we all know, scheduled payment means, coupon payment, right? And of course, at the end, par value. We know present value goes up. I mean, when discount rate goes down, present value goes up. But call allows issuer to repurchase the bond at call price, right? I mean, this is why they call, right? Because interest rate goes down. That's why it's called call, that's why it's call, right? If the call price is less than the bond price, right? Present value of all the scheduled payment, that means the bond price. Issuer calls the bond at the expense of the bondholder. That's why the bondholder doesn't like it. So let's take a look at this. I mean, this is a question, but it doesn't look like a question. But before we do that, let's do this. When rate goes up, the price of the bond, right? Price of the bond is less than the call price, because you're discounted. It's discounted more. Values of straight and callable bonds converge, and so there's no reason for any company to call the bond when interest rate goes up. They would rather stick to their bond. Think about it. That's why it's a call option with the bond issuer, right? But when interest rate goes down, values of bonds, callable bond and straight bonds diverge, reflecting the value of the firm's option to reclaim bond at call price. That's what this graph was showing you all about. I mean, think about it. If interest rate goes down, bond price goes up. I mean, if you want to retire before maturity, if you want to retire the the debt, you will have to pay these prices, right? Before maturity. But even at maturity you will pay 1,000. But until then, you pay all those interest, you pay all those 10% interest. So if you want to retire the bond, a straight bond before maturity, you will be paying a lot, bleeding, right? But if it is callable bond, you just pay 1,100, right? And when interest rate goes up, price goes down, so no reason to call, right? And you can just pay this. If the interest rate goes to 13%, the price will be like 650 maybe, or 700. I mean, in other words, you retire debt with less money than your principal, less money than what the principal that you owe. So you can do it, with straight buying the bonds back straight from the market, right? So with that in mind, so there are two bonds. One, bond A has the call price of 112%. Bond B has the call price of, we are almost out of time. That means 117%. Of course, that's $1,112, $120, $1,170. If the interest rate goes down, which bond is more likely to be called? If interest rate goes down, which bond is more likely to be called?
So B?
B? They both, look, the present value, the price of the bond, the present value of the bond will both go down, but still present value of A the present value of A being, okay, so this is the market price, this is the intrinsic value, this is the market price, also intrinsic value of B, intrinsic value of A. So the market price will go down more than the market price will be lower than the intrinsic value in both cases. But the chances of A being called is greater than the chances of B being called. Why? This requires more. I mean, what was their coupon rate? That kind of information is needed. But but straight from the call price, the lower the call price, right? The lower the call price, think about it. You pay less. I mean, to redeem the bond, you pay less to the bondholders, right? You pay less. It costs less to the company. I mean, think about it. If you're for company A to call the bond, they will have to pay $1,120, and company B, they will have to pay $1,170, which costs more. B costs, obviously, it costs more for company B. So obviously, what costs less, right? If it costs less, that action, that's more, that action is more likely to be exercised. That option is more likely to be exercised, right? If it is, of course, when interest rate goes down, the price, both, valuation goes down. But then, then you have to pay the call price, right? And whatever has a lower call price has a more, straightforward, more chance of getting that option has more chance of getting exercised, right? So bond A is more likely to be called. Okay, all righty. So that's all the time we have for today. Next time we're gonna have to go into a section 10.3 bond. Any questions so far? Any questions? Any questions? Anyone? All right, I will take it as no. All right, thank you, Alpha.
Thank you.
Sebastian. All
So
right, thank you.
we don't meet next Saturday, correct?
We don't meet next Saturday because, unfortunately, because of Lincoln's. What should I say? Fortunately for Lincoln's birth, I'm thankful to Abraham Lincoln, but unfortunately for our class. But remember, the lecture videos are still released as per the schedule. Per schedule, it will still be released on time, so that there will be no gap for you to have the study material. Okay. All righty. So if you have no further questions, then
I have a small question.
Yeah. Yeah. Who is this? Louis?
No, Sebastian.
Sebastian. Yeah. Go ahead.
In regards the assignment, there's still no assignments for this week.
No,
right?
no. All the assignments are basically chapter problems and Connect, but I haven't set it up yet. So once I set it up, you will be notified. Of course, for next Saturday, you'll have something to do by next Saturday. Okay.
Yeah, I was just wondering. Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Then I will have to say goodbye. Have a great afternoon. It's a great day, a wonderful day. Have a great rest of the day. I will see you guys 2 weeks from now. All right.
Professor, bye.
All right. Take care, everyone. I'll see
Have a
you.
good one, Professor.
All righty. I'll stop.
Have a good weekend.
You too. I'll stop recording and stop sharing, stop recording, and sign out.